Hello everyone and welcome back to my Bold and Beautiful 29 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Ridge saved Brook's life. Brook was reckless, but so was Nick. His hurried attempt to invite Lang's character as part of an engagement trouble redounded in disaster. The boat Nick captained had a defective steering wheel, which caused him to nearly crash into another vessel. He avoided that impact but fell and hit his head, while Brook was thrown overboard. Brook's choice to Chesterfield on the reverse of the boat, without any restraint, was reckless. Ironically, that's why Ridge broke from her in the history and most lately. His choice to commit to Taylor before this time and to get engaged happened for a specific reason. He saw Taylor as the anti-Brook. Ridge simply felt that Brook had a pattern of chaos and would veer from it. Sure enough, she didn't. Being wedded to Brook 8 times but not presently being together means that 8 bifurcations have happened. Ridge is now claiming that he's going to make everything right with her. Why? On this specific position shoot, are so memorably marvelous. We know they'll be part of a retrospective package, as part of both characters' recollections, indefinitely, and that's okay. But what's not okay is Ridge forgetting that he made a pledge to Taylor that now seems in imminent peril of breaking her heart. Taylor's broken heart pattern was no joke, as Brook believed. Taylor nearly failed because of the repeated emotional damage Ridge foisted on her. Sure, he didn't intend to harm Taylor, but that's the effect he'd and surely will again if he, again returns to Brook. Brook has long believed in fortune. She had another feasible option when Nick learned that Ridge was with Taylor. Nick's return to the cast was cheered by longtime observers and all of us of this kidney. He and Brook have a son and were formerly in love. Ridge is rightfully caught up in the moment. Giving someone, especially a true love, mouth-to-mouth reanimation naturally elevated his feelings. Taylor's absence also enabled him to be running Brook in Italy. If she only had attended Forrester Creations' summer splash rather. But Taylor put her trust in Ridge, which is a decision she may lament indefinitely. Nick's determination to relatively literally steer her down from a belief that Ridge is her fortune appears to have failed. This is a solid summer reversal story, with plenitude of dramatic fallout ahead. After Grace's concession, Hope will be detracted, giving Daphne an edge. Taylor is going to find out about Ridge's deliverance. Grace has been forced into a concession by Finn. The manly croaker is affrighted and appalled that Grace would falsely tell a case they had a brain excrescence, also have them go through a gratuitous procedure to collect $1 million. Finn will drag Grace to Bill estate. Finn demanding Grace tell Liam and Hope what she's done. Whether Grace tells the verity or cleverly gets out of it. How Hope and Liam reply, Bill find out and going to do commodity. Finn tells Steffi to come back as a head. Still, also Steffi could end up in peril as well, if the villains know where Paris lives. Both of them are in the city of Paris. Steffi might stop by to see Paris only to get caught up in a hijacking situation. Bill will reel over being conned formerly again. Katie will be there for support, so she'll guide Bill through this. There will also be Brook and Ridge return from Italy. Steffi could be gearing up for a marriage host return. Will Steffi ail Brook and Ridge form? Steffi took a break out of city with the kiddies after all the Luna mayhem, but she'll be home ahead long. It's time for Steffi to come back into the picture. It makes sense to give her a grand re-entrance to the oil. We can clearly suppose of one way for Steffi to make a splash and factory herself at the center of some major drama. The trouble may start with a bridegroom switch since Ridge seems poised to marry Brook rather of Taylor following the Italy failure. Steffi was lodging for Taylor to live happily ever after with Ridge, so she's going to be furious with her pater. When that doesn't be. Ridge has let Taylor down more times than Steffi can count, so she's going to be deeply disappointed in him. Steffi may condemn Brook for the utmost part and act like she should have just left Ridge alone. Brook couldn't have prognosticated that voyaging disaster. Steffi may still find a way to spin this around and hold her responsible. Ridge can't fight his love for Brook presently, so all signs point to him making her his woman. Again. Brook and Ridge may get their former marriage plans back on track despite Steffi's disapprobation. Steffi will presumably be invited to the espousal, but we could still be headed for a marriage host type of situation. Maybe Steffi will plan to swap the marriage out of support for Taylor, only to decide she'll make a surprise appearance in the end. It'd be delightful to watch Steffi come strutting in with a many effects to get off her casket. Steffi might make it crystal clear that she thinks Ridge is making a giant mistake and that he'll want he'd stuck with Taylor sooner or laterally. Steffi will get some disturbing script regarding Taylor and Ridge's failed engagement, so stay tuned. Ridge saving Brook's life, Liam looking back, and Grace scrabbling to keep her secret under wraps. Brook's fall from Nick's boat nearly took a woeful turn as she floated industriously in the water. Thankfully, Ridge's fast thinking and strong swimming saved the day. He managed to get Brook out of the water to safety. Ridge also frenetically performed CPR to bring her back around. All while Nick was coming around after being knocked unconscious himself. While Ridge was giving her mouth-to-mouth and condensing, Brook was visioning running toward him on the sand after chancing him again. The memory brought her back around, and she opened her eyes. Ridge, beside himself with relief, passionately kissed her. Ridge held Brook in his arms and refused to let go. He nearly lost her, and it showed him exactly what he wanted and what he demanded. Brook truly is his fortune. Donna streamlined Katie about the Italy drama. Nick has a ring and he's going to propose. They hoped she wouldn't fall for his gesture. They knew she'd lament it latterly. They realized their family hadn't been by important contact in the once many hours and hoped she was okay. Hope continued swimming over Liam while he wondered if there was ever going to be a way to thank Grace for everything. He was so incredibly thankful to have his life back. He'll get to see his girls grow up, and that's priceless. Buckingham and Beth brought the discussion right back to Reese. That man ruined their lives, and their lucky effects worked out, and they got their son back. They had to wonder how an angel like Grace was married to a monster. Oh, if they only knew. Finn continued pushing Grace for further information about her devious dupe. Grace verified that Liam did have a brain bleed for real, but everything after that was falsehoods, and further falsehoods. Finn was furious. Grace explained she had to do what she did to pay off Reese's debts so she and her daughters wouldn't get hurt. With Reese in jail, it's not like he could come up with the plutocrat, so the bookies came to her relentlessly. She had no choice. There were no other options. She also dove into the crooked tale of how she got down with it. She used his once reviews, his multiple once brain bleeds, along with the new bone, to formulate the brain excrescence plan. Repulsed, Finn read her for smut and issued a shocking claim: either she comes clean or he spills the verity. Grace frenetically tried to get him to keep it all a secret. No bone. Could know. Yeah, that's not gonna be. Carter was committed to Hope. That was far easier while the uniquely charming Daphne was living in Paris, France. What's Daphne's third trip to Los Angeles, California, could prove to be the charm. And she surely intends to retain her aspect. On Carter, who could be the first true love of Daphne's life. Hope was glad to see Daphne leave city, supposedly induced that Carter was unattainable. We were surprised to see Hilaire's pleasurable character reappear this summer because that means that a juicy triangle should reignite. The original plan to bring Daphne to city was Steffi communicate. But it didn't prove to be a masterstroke. Carter set up Daphne to be intoxicating, with a nod to the spices that made her notorious in the cosmetics world. But he ultimately realized that Hope, not Daphne, was his coming soulmate. Steffi believed Daphne was the right person to break Hope's hold on Carter during the period when he'd seized control of Forrester Creations. That plot had colorful holes, with St. Victor's character going against type, indeed considering his one-time connection to Quinn. Hope made a strange choice in the recent history. She made herself available to Thomas after times of telling him that she didn't see him in that way. The hole in that plot was that Noelle's character was placed far against type. While cleaner suckers anticipate and indeed want writing staffs to rearrange the blend, Hope's jest wasn't completely credible. Hope was written back to believability, which also allows the developing plot to have positive eventuality. Daphne is a befitting foe for Hope. Steffi is married to Finn. That union served to wrap the Hope, Steffi, Liam triangle a sprinkle of times agone. The possibility of having Hope, Carter, and Daphne renew their triangle is engaging. Hope could advertise a gestation at any point. But a different take could have Carter and Daphne involved in an unexpected one-time connection that leads to her having what would be his first child. That script would devastate Hope and presumably lead to Carter being with Daphne or potentially marrying her. Liam, who believes he has beaten cancer, would come Hope's coming logical option. Liam doesn't appear to have been told the verity. He'll need Hope to lean on if his excrescence still exists and the fight for his life persists. Liam's ongoing fight for his life would be a credible draw for Hope to be with him.